let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, true believers? I hope you're having a great morning. My name is Bleez. We're here to talk about this crazy crypto world. And it's not only crazy, but I think we're about to surge another leg up. Again, I've given you the projection that I think Bitcoin goes to 124,000 next. And, listen, I am holding to that. And the first thing that you should know about anybody who tells you that Bitcoin or any asset is going to a very specific number is that they don't know anything. I have no idea what's really going to happen with Bitcoin. Here's what I do know. What I do know is fundamentally, a while back, I looked at it, 124,096 was my number. So I'm just going to lean into it and I'm going to stick with it. And in the, I want to say 1 in a million chance, probably, it's probably not that. It's probably a little bit less. 1 in 100,000 chance that I get it exactly right to the dollar. Then we're going to donate. We're going to donate something. Some used toothpicks to Make-A-Wish. I don't know, something like that. Something crazy, something wild. Anyway, make sure you hit the like button on the way in. We've got DJ and Brian in the house. We've got the Fun Family. It says that Little Puff official TikTok partnership announcement confirmed. We did get an announcement yesterday, which led to a little bit of a sell-off. Also, drama. I had some drama in the Puff chat yesterday. I'm going to talk to you guys about it. The silly thing was I was going to make a screenshot of it and just be like, this is how wild some of these idiots are. And it was not the case, but I'll show you the thread because I had a conversation with Jeff, the creator of Puff, yesterday about it. I'm not holding. I'm still holding onto Puff, but I don't need to be in a chat full of babies crying about shit because they're, little not going to make it ass bitches, I guess. And that's the only phrase that I have that really equates to what happens when stuff like that. So, guys, just look, hit the like button. Everything will be fine. Masonic Mike says, thank you for making steroids look great again. They were looking great before me. They'll look great after me. I'm just kidding. They'll look like shit. They'll look like shit. And yeah, I at this point, by the way, I think it's safe to say I should be on them. I should be on them. And the reason that I think that is because I'm old. You know what I mean? My testosterone should not be nearly as high as it is, to be fair with you. I had a guy at my gym the other day, short story before we get started. I had a guy at the gym the other day, gray-haired old man, working out, doing his thing. It walks up to me, we're having a conversation and stuff like that. And he's like, man, you are just massive. Like, what is it that you do? And, we started talking about workouts. We started doing all this kind of stuff. And then the next thing I know, he's like, well, how old are you? I told him how old I was. And he was younger than me. And he was like, oh my God, like, how did you hold up so well? And like, there's no trick to it. There really is no trick to it. For those of you that don't know, I don't do drugs. I don't drink, things that are really, really bad for you. I tend to shy away from. If you want to drink with me, we'll get drunk. If you want to get high with me, we'll get high. I don't have a problem. Well, you know what? I won't do hard drugs. I'll never do hard drugs. That's just not me. But if you want to do some stuff, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I'm not an addict or anything like that. I shy away from things that I think are a detriment to my body, and that's served me pretty well. So, but yeah, this guy was shocked to find out that he, that I am older than he is, and I look 20 years younger than him. So shout out. Yeah, I don't know if the guy follow me or not, but yeah, you know, if it is, he'll tell me at the gym today. So anyway, we got good morning from Amit. Amit and I had a good conversation about Puff yesterday. He was in the chat as well. That was some high school shit in the Puff Telegram yesterday. I'll tell you guys about it in just a moment. Leo, what's going on? How about cakes? Like Dunkin' Donuts. You know what? I will, because it's bread and sugar, but you got to limit something like that. Like it's not horrible for you. It just doesn't have any health benefit to you. You know what I mean? Like I mean, you're not going to be diabetic from a couple of donuts or something like that because, you know what I mean? Derek says, I hope this isn't a bull run because no, it's not. By the way, well, let me rephrase that. Yes, it is. We are in the bull run, and it's just not the altcoin season. We're going to get that altcoin season. It's going to happen any day now. Like, we're really going to start to see something crazy happen in this market, but we won't see anything crazy happen until the number one most important thing happens. And that is Bitcoin has to surge to the point that investors are losing their minds because they're making so much in profit that they want to get into other coins. That's the trick that we haven't reached yet. So we'll get there, and it won't take very long. Okay. DJ and Brian says Bitcoin bull run. Yes, Bitcoin bull run, obviously. And by the way, today, this morning, the only thing that I bought was Bitcoin. So this was my first day, by the way, where everything that I bought was just Bitcoin. Today was my Bitcoin day. We're going to continue. And by the way, we're going to continue to accumulate Bitcoin. That's going to be the ultimate strategy here. I think I like to hold on to other things because I want to see them pump and surge. But ultimately, everything gets moved over into Bitcoin going forward. I will take USDT or USDC out, you know, when I have to pay bills and stuff like that. But ultimately, I think Bitcoin is the ultimate strategy. So that it's just my opinion. Leeson says, afternoon all. Tommy says, don't forget about CoinsCheck, BCB, and Buddy. We've got CoinsCheck, we've got BCB. We don't have any Buddy yet, though. By the time I heard about, and by the way, I'm checked out of these things sometimes because I'm busy, doing stuff, and I missed the launch of Buddy, and it was like 5x up at that point. So I haven't bought any yet, but I will grab some of that very, very shortly. Crypto Cappy says, good morning, believers. What is going on? Make sure, by the way, you guys hit the like button. Selmo is in the house. Hey, Selmo. Bitcoin super cycle, far from a bull run. That is correct. We're not at that bullish. Look, Bitcoin is in a bull run. The bull run is run by Bitcoin, but Bitcoin needs to surge a little bit more. I thought, by the way, that it needed to surge and get to an all-time high and then maybe 100,000 and that we would see an altcoin season. We haven't seen that, but I also don't have a good argument for the chart. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second, because really we've seen it. We just, we maybe sometimes get a little bit too into meme coins. We haven't done the major alts, and that's really been what's happened. When you break it down, only about 5 or 6 real projects have been pushing in this market. And you see meme coins popping off every once in a while. It's been a meme coin market. But, there's been just very few real breakout candidates that we've seen. Now, we've seen plenty of breakout candidates, just not like, we haven't hit the banana zone yet, but we will. We're going to hit it. So let's get started and let's check out the bubbles. All right. So SPX having a nice little run today, actually really in the news and everything. Zcash, Dexy, the rest of it just kind of muted at this point. A little pullback. This is a healthy pullback. I'll show you in the charts in just a moment. ZBCN has now moved up into the top 200. Guys, I did not give you this, but somebody else in my chat gave you this like 2 weeks ago. And it is up on the month 400%. So, man, if you listened early on, you got real lucky, because in fact, if everything looked like ZBCN right now, like we would be in that banana zone. Look at that. That is one of the most beautiful charts that you will ever see. Not only did it break out, it broke out above its golden zone. It broke out all the way to the top. if we just make an argument here that maybe that was the ultimate surge, even if we do that, it's at 261.8% from that last pivot right there. So, I mean, and by the way, like this is ultimately what you want to see on every single one of these, right? Because what did you get? I tell you all the time, like, you know, from here to here, obviously, then we have that corrective move, right? Corrective move comes down, then the corrective move goes back up to 236. It gets bought and it gets hot at the right time. Bam. And it went absolutely nuts. And it continues to run. Like this is what I expected. By the way, what do the kids say nowadays? No homo, chicks can't be in whatever stupid shit they say. That's what I expected to see from Devv, by the way. This is exactly what I expected to see from Devv at this point right now. I mean, you know, so I can tell you that I've been underwhelmed by Devv at this point, and I see that they're going on an apology tour right now. This was a 7x. This was a 7x in a short period of time. Now, obviously, obviously, Blocky did us a little bit better than this, but look, this is an altcoin, and like this was a great opportunity, and it continues to soar. It is continuing on, and if we remove, by the way, if we remove that and we start to look at it from a shorter term cycle and say, well, you know, what's the last impulse move? There's that. I mean, look at how beautiful that move has been. We had a basic correction right here, and where do we have our best sort of, we want to get on the daily pivot here. So now we already got that right. So, I look, get yourself some ZBC in because it might continue on, and it might be a game changer. By the way, I don't know shit about it at this point. I just be honest with you. All I know is it's got a pretty looking chart. Also, we went from being up $30 billion on the day to USA, SMD, SMD's nuts, or what? I don't know, whatever you say when you're, you know, one of these, I don't know, one of these people. Whew, American investors, and the dump has started. And look, we did this yesterday. We ended up with some downward momentum yesterday. We look at the daily chart from yesterday. We had a nice red candle over here. Now it's converted over here into another red candle. A correction is necessary. Again, we're talking about Bitcoin. When we look at Bitcoin, this is what we see, right? The RSI is just overheated right now. And I told you before that RSI just feels like it needs to move down, but we haven't had that move yet. This is a nice little cooling off period. So now we have an opportunity, maybe, just maybe, to get an entry point at 100,000. Again, we have not done anything. And I've been considering, because we're not doing enough right now. We're not doing nearly, in fact, enough in like trading these every single day. Let me get to this range right there, to this every day. So now where are we? When we look at each one of these positions, like we're still doing good on Sol. We're still doing good on Ethereum. We're having a little bit of drawdown from this, but I mean, Squeeze down 30% again. OM down 30% again. We've got our Ondo is now down 20%. XRP is down 22%, but we added more to the XRP. So I feel good about it ultimately, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to start taking profits a lot faster on this, because that's what I really want to see. You know what I mean? So, you know, and look, you never really know what's going to happen in these markets, but let's continue on here. TRB up 27%. There's still positives. There's nothing really, there's no crazy thing in the market that's drawing us down at this point, other than Donald Trump. And I would think ultimately Donald Trump is going to be a bullish catalyst for the market, not a bearish catalyst. So the fact that he's pulling it down right now, to me, kind of represents a good, that actually represent, to me, that's positive. Okay. Let me just put it that way. To me, that's positive, because I don't think that he's a bad actor for crypto, or for anything else for that matter. But we've got to have everything lined up. There was a rumor that about 3 nations are about to announce that that we've got some kind of actual trade agreement. So there's bullish news coming around. News doesn't always move news moves the markets. By the way, don't forget this. News moves the markets when there's manipulation behind it. Otherwise, there's very little in the news that's going to move things right now. So, it's a matter of finding that piece or something like that. So anyway, let's get off that topic and let's move through this as quickly as we possibly can, because we got a lot to go over. Fear and greed index is at 74. So we're having a nice little run. We're continuing to see this downward momentum here. We're losing crypto off of the exchange. Now, why is that? Well, look, game theory is starting to play out on Bitcoin. What is the game theory? Well, number one, USA is setting up a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and we're finding different ways to come up with it. Now, right now, the Bitcoin that's been seized, the crypto that's been seized, is what's going into that coffer. Make sure you hit the like button, by the way, on the way in. Helps push me up in the algorithm. It's the easiest thing that you can do if you don't want to become a member of the channel and support me that way. At least hit that like button for me. So anyway, the Bitcoin is being left off of the exchange because USA has stepped in and they're setting up a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, what about El Salvador and places like that? Well, it's true that El Salvador started off early and got in immediately, and that Nayib Bukele has done a fantastic job in that regard. However, it's El Salvador, okay? It's not the United States of America. It's not Canada. It's not Great Britain. It's not Russia. It's not China. It's not the big countries, okay? It's not the big trading partners. It's not Mexico. It's not, you know what I mean? This is a small piece here. So what do we need? We need to see big players enter the game, and the United States has entered the game. So now game theory plays out. How does game theory play out? Well, once USA has done it, everybody else is going to be fighting to do it because they don't want to get left behind. Now, you're going to have people who are subservient who say, well, you know what? If the US is doing it, we should probably be doing it too, because a lot of smart people in the USA. So you might see smaller places start to work on it. And you did see it play out. Pakistan made a bold Bitcoin reserve statement, and now they might face IMF scrutiny. But let me tell you, he says today is a very historic day. This is Bilal bin Saqib, who is the Bitcoin Reserve Minister or something like that. He says, today is a very historic day. Today, I announced the Pakistani government is setting up its own government-led Bitcoin strategic reserve, and we want to thank the United States of America again because we were inspired by them. Ta-da! Game theory just played out. Now you've got, this is a major nation. Remember, it's like 1 billion Pakis. Same thing when India, it's like 1 billion, like 900 billion Indians in India and Pakistan. And these guys, they're coming for Bitcoin. Okay. They're coming for Bitcoin. Are you not bullish by that point? Like, are you not seeing what's happening here? There's other states in the United States. Texas has approved it. What is it? Rhode Island has approved a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Florida has approved a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Okay, the game theory is starting to play out. People are buying up the Bitcoin, and what's happening? Bitcoin is disappearing off of the exchange. When the Bitcoin disappears off the exchange and off of the OTC desks, then guess what happens? Price explosion. Once that price explosion hits, and by the way, Pakistan, to their credit, they said, oh, and also, we are never selling our Bitcoin. Like, he hit all the right points for what he was doing. Now, will they never sell? I don't know. Most likely, at some point, you're going to have to sell because you don't make any money if you don't. So the question at this point would be, and by the way, remember, this is a strategic reserve just in case. So they'll borrow against it and they'll create leverage, which is not a good thing, by the way. But the fact that they're buying, that is a good thing. And, Michael Saylor said this at the Bitcoin conference. He said that, and this is important, and you guys should understand how important this is. Number one, okay, if all of these institutions, all of these countries, if all of these people just allocate 10% into Bitcoin, Bitcoin will be at $1 million. So we're starting to see that all play out. The game theory is afoot. Blockchain is inevitable. Bitcoin is inevitable at this point. So this is why you should be incredibly excited about what is going on. We got Ryo in the house right now. Bino is up 5x from the bottom. New team took over. Moon Pig Whale with connections is helping with marketing. I'm not part of the team. Dex tool is not updated yet, but new team is doing it as we speak. Do your own research. Good luck. All right. So we'll see what happens with Bino. Benno, I don't know if it's Bino or Benno. Let's go look at it real quick. And so it's a dog coin, 63,000. All right. So, all right, here we go. We got a really nice spike that came in off of it, it's basically a dead drop. I mean, this is basically a dead drop. Now, for me, no offense to Ryo, of course. For me, that's not an entry point. I would be looking at, so right here, you can see that you hit the top of that resistance right there, and immediately you had a big sell down. So now the question is, where is your entry position? That sparks some life to it, and that really, to me, looks like there's more upside momentum. But because it came back down here and it already dipped lower, it dipped a little bit lower than the top over here. That would mean that another top is going to come into play, which means that you might have an opportunity to get a little bit of sell-off around 203. So you might lose about 50% right now on this. That would be the entry point. That if that's going to be the case, I would be looking at an entry point somewhere down into and by the way, this does not mean that it's ever going to come down here, but somewhere right in that range right there. That would be a good entry point for the move that just happened. And again, like it could break out. And if it's already wicked up into this range right here, and it caused this cascade of sell-off, right? If it already wicked up into this range, then that means that it'll probably go to the top of that range. The top of that range is about a 3x from where it is right now. So that's why it's important. Make sure you buy at that bottom. Okay. And then if it breaks out, then it's going to break out up into this range right here, like right there. So you have a long way to go. You have about a 4x total from where it is. But if you wait just a little while, I think it's going to be a 6 or a 7 or an 8x. Now, that being said, it could absolutely wreck. You never know what's going to happen. But you got a new team taking over. So shout out to Bino. Hopefully this one runs pretty good. Now back to Pakistan. Pakistan has entered the fray. Look, it's only a matter of time for Russia has already talked about their Bitcoin strategy, that they're going to consider this whole thing too. Again, game theory is playing out. Same thing for China. China is secretly hodling Bitcoin, and at some point, they're going to have to enter the fray. China will probably be the last country to enter the fray, but they will enter the fray. It's only a matter of time at this point. Bitcoin is inevitable. It is now inevitable, okay? And don't forget, stablecoin legislation is coming very, very soon. Now, the future of digital asset is, by the way, stablecoins, and that should be very, very specific. And let's be very, very clear about the landscape of where we are in what it is that we do. The only things that really provide value in this market, and some of you are going to be offended by this, but the only things that do right now are blockchain. Bitcoin's not fast enough. Ethereum still has some issues. Solana has some issues. Everything's got a little bit of an issue, okay? Places that don't have an issue are new upstarts like Devv. Devv so far doesn't have an instantaneous settlement, 8 million transactions or more per second. It's got all of the bells and whistles, but we haven't seen it play out in a live action setting with a high volume. So we don't know for sure if that's the one, but it looks very good. Same thing for a lot of different other chains. They all look good, but when they start to get volume, then we start to see cracks in them. And then we see how the team deals with the cracks that emerge. Remember Solana at the beginning of every month, Solana was crashing. Remember, that was not that long ago where Solana at first of the month, there was just some kind of code problem. And first of the month, it would go out for like 6 or 7 hours or something like that. You know what I mean? So blockchain is what's going to move the market, and things are going to be built on the blockchain. But I don't think that you understand that you're already playing with digital asset. You just don't see it because it's still in the TradFi world. And let me explain what I mean. Have you ever gone to a Dave & Buster's? You have? Okay. Did you pay with money for the video games, or did you pay with tokens? Well, the tokens are going to be, you're going to have some Dave & Buster tokens, and you'll have them in a wallet, and you'll be able to scan them with a card reader or something like that. It's going to be on your, like we're reaching a spot here where, you know, you go to Dave & Buster's, you're going to have your own crypto for Dave & Buster's. Have you ever been to Disney? Because Disney sells you Disney bucks. They don't use regular bucks. They use Disney bucks. Well, guess what? What happens if you can start loading up your wallet with Disney bucks and it's a Disney crypto? It's a stable coin. Disney is going to have its own stable coin, or it'll be plugged into a place that has its own stable coin, and they will make a contract, a smart contract that will have Disney bucks on it. And your Disney bucks will just be on your phone, or it'll be on a card, or it'll be on your device. And that's how you will spend. If you go to hotels and you go to luxury stay hotels, you get a wristband, right? That wristband, all you do is scan that wristband and everything just gets billed to your hotel room, right? Well, guess what? All of that tokenized. We're already dealing with a world where this is happening. We just don't see it as crypto yet. The frictionless sort of transactions here that we're going to start experiencing, it'll get enhanced with blockchain, and that's going to be the future. So blockchains, which you'll do the transactions on, and stable coins. And by the way, stable coins are going to be the biggest buyer of bond yields pretty soon. Remember the bond yield we showed the other day? That bond yield was a 10-year. Was it 10 years? It was at 4.47. Let's go look at it today and see what it is. And let's see if what Donnie is doing is starting to work. And it is not. Okay. There's still a massive desire for US debt. So 4.45%, that's beating Coinbase for the USDC staking. USDC staking is currently at 4.37%. So it is easier. It is better for you if you have money. Remember, just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean you want a lot of risk on your money. That's the issue. So this provides you almost zero risk. US not going to default on its debt. So it's going to provide you with almost zero risk and almost 4.5% return on every $1 million that you have. The big money, that's why they do this, because they don't want their big money to become, look, if you put $100 million today into crypto, sure, you'll be fine long term, but short term, you will just be exit liquidity for somebody. I mean, like, just for an example, could you imagine today you're on, let's say, Puff. You know, Puff had a nice little move yesterday, ran up here, and then just immediately they had an announcement. That announcement caused an absolute bombing of price. I don't know what that was. It was buy the rumor, sell the news, I think. And they've got a big, campaign going. But when I say that, like, we really have to look at it from this context. Like, it would occur to me that this thing is probably going to bounce a pretty long way, my opinion. But could you imagine? It's $442,000 worth of liquidity. Could you imagine if somebody bought $1 million worth right now? Could you imagine what that would do to the price? Who wouldn't sell? If you didn't sell, if a random buy for $1 million popped in, if you didn't sell, you're a fucking moron. Okay? Because everybody who gets that kind of move is going to dip. So then my point is, when the money enters the market, you're just going to become somebody's exit liquidity. So don't do that. Don't be exit liquidity for somebody. Be the person, be the lion in this. Don't be the sheep or the gazelle or whatever. Make up whatever stupid animal you were thinking of. That's the one I was talking about. Also, Blocky, I had a little patience with Blocky. Sold on my Blocky yesterday because it was in big profit, right? It was in a big profit here. So I took all the money. I'm in. Right now, I can accumulate more. At this point, I'm going to be tiny bit more shrewd on this. I'm looking for Blocky to come down into this 24 range right here. And then that's where I'm going to accumulate a little bit. Hopefully it won't get a reversal from there and just go crazy. Hopefully it'll dip back down into this area at 22.23. And then catastrophically speaking, you never know, because a narrative could change. Puff might start pumping and stuff like that. So it might come down here just a little bit more, and I'll be able to accumulate, and I'll get just a ton more than I had before. And then ultimately, I think it's going to have another gigantic breakout. So that's what I'm waiting for right now. Okay. So yeah, let's keep going on this. Ethereum eyes $3,000 as whales have accumulated 190,000 Ethereum. That represents 1%. It's not a whole lot from the Ethereum blockchain, but you know, if you're accumulating, if whales are accumulating, that usually follows price. That usually is followed by a tremendous price action. These guys are going to accumulate quietly because they want the best price, and then they're going to allow the news, they're going to allow the manipulation, they're going to run the price up, and then everybody's happy because we made a bunch of money off of Ethereum. By the way, this has to happen for altcoin season. Like, we're looking at, what do we see in altcoin season? By the way, the fundamental chart has not changed. As a matter of fact, let's go look at that chart, and you guys can, it plays itself out. It's basically, again, it's game theory. Phase one, money flows into Bitcoin, causing a price surge. Have we seen that yet? I don't think that we have in the right way. Then phase two, Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, and we hear talks of the flippening. Well, you know, in the last bunch of days, we've actually seen Bitcoin holding up pretty well compared to Ethereum. Ethereum is pumping a little bit harder than Bitcoin at this point. So we're seeing the potential for a breakout, but I don't think this is breakout land yet. And the reason that it's not is because I don't think that Bitcoin is fat enough. Like, the profits are not big enough. That next surge, which is going to go to approximately 124,096, is where that profit taking is going to happen. And by the way, Bitcoin dominance, as you can see right here, Bitcoin dominance started to break down in the last 2 days after another surge. But guess what? Now we're getting these wicks down here, and that usually means there's going to be a surge. So we're going to see Bitcoin dominance go up a little bit more. When that happens, we're going to see a nice big run. That nice big run, again, 124,096. No higher, no lower. It's going to go exactly to 124,096. Once that happens, then we're going to see, we'll see this, and we'll get a nice little surge. And by the way, the rest of the market will go up. The rest of the market is not going to go down. Ultimately, it'll go up, but we'll get that big surge. And then once we get that big surge, then we'll start to see Ethereum, which at that point should be around in this range right here, being drug along with it. They'll say it's time, and then we'll see a surge to 3,700, a dump to 33, and then boom, we'll see a breakout back to 4,000. That's when we're going to start seeing it. Now, remember earlier I talked about altcoin season, and we haven't really had an altcoin season yet. Well, let's zoom out and let's, you know, put some perspective on, this is Ethereum, right? So on Ethereum last year around March, we went to $4,000 from a bottom. And let's not forget where the bottom is. This is not about the top. This is about the bottom. And the bottom over here was $880. So Ethereum had a massive run up so far in this market for anybody who bought the bottom. So it had a 4,000 run. And then guess what happened? We broke back down. We established kind of a trend around 24, 25, 2,600. And then what happened again? We started to get that run again last year. And by the way, it corresponded with this sell-off right there. Once we got to Bitcoin dominance, once it started to ping up here, then we broke down completely. When we broke down completely, that's when we got the big run. Now, what did the big run do? Took us back up to 4,104. Boom, 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 boom. It actually played out. We've seen this happen multiple times. When we look at it from XRP's perspective, what happened? Around that same time, October, November, what happened? We went from 50 cents to $3.40. So, I mean, that's a 7X, right? So we saw 7X increase on XRP. Did it settle there? Of course it didn't. It's going to retrace it. That's what happens in these markets. So And then what happened over here with Solana? Of course, Solana famously went from $8 up to $295. But again, it's around that same time. That's when we got those surges. Now, you'll notice right here that momentum changed and Solana got a secondary surge because it has the meme coins. And when the meme coins were popping and the meme coins were popping around that time, that's what we got. So we've not had many altcoin seasons. We haven't seen an explosive growth altcoin season yet. We've seen a lot of capital flowing into the quote unquote safe assets, the safest assets. And by the way, we can see from $8 to $300, Solana is not exactly safe. Same thing for something like OM. This is, this is what I'm telling you. OM is as safe as Solana when it comes down to it, which is why I think that, again, we're going to see a massive move on the Mantra blockchain coming up very, very soon. Now, today seems like it's going to be a USA sell-off. We're up $42 on the Dow Jones. We're down 30 billion on crypto market cap. But again, it's a little overheated. So you're seeing this whole thing sort of play out. So we've had mini runs right here. Ondo, $2.14. I mean, just consider that and consider where Ondo was right before that. Ondo was at 55 cents right before that. So we saw a 5x off of Ondo from September to December. Does that make sense here? Like, I mean, and if you're selling tops, like if you're doing this on the tops and you're hitting these notes, then you're feeling pretty good, right? Ondo, same thing here. And by the way, you saw it over here. Okay, this is what you saw. You saw this move, right? Then you saw this correction. Then you saw this consolidation. Then you saw boom, another move. Then you saw this sell off. Now you're looking at consolidation. Guess what's getting ready to happen? Boom, you're gonna do it again. And by the way, this consolidation was in this range. This consolidation is in this range, which means that you're going up, which means that this is going up again. So, it's very, very simple. You just have to zoom out. You just have to watch what's happening and you have to see how it's being built up. So ultimately, I remain super bullish. By the way, our XRP long got triggered. We had another $25 into that one. So let's get into Devv. Devv is on an apology tour, by the way. Just in case you guys have not seen it, if you're in any of the chats with me, then you've probably seen quite a bit of, we probably didn't do, or we blah, 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 blah. I like the fact that they're admitting that, what they're doing has not exactly worked out perfectly. There's some conversation right now with nation states is what they're calling them. So, and there's a lot of conversation to be had today, and you can see Austin is even in here right now. By the way, not very active chat. It's at 9:22, last comment. So it's not a very active chat. Okay, let's be honest. But Austin says, no, our talks with the nations have been in regards to using our tech and infrastructure to manage and track their ESG data and efforts. They are big jobs. And what this is it's a conversation about nation states. Okay. Devv is directly linked to sovereign states, primarily through its capacity to support government level compliance, transparency, and ESG, which is environmental, social, and governance, data tracking using the DevX blockchain infrastructure. Country-specific blockchain shards. DevX, the blockchain underpinning Devv, enables the creation of customized blockchain shards. And it's explaining basically what you already know. And why it allows for good things to happen. And as you go through here, you'll see that Tom Anderson is in here. You'll see that they're having conversations, and they're also being what do you call it? They're also being kind of not sneaky. It's not the word here, but they can't say too much. So when you look at what Tom says, I left what I said as unspecific on purpose. Here is the challenge on answering this type of thing. When you have a conversation with an enterprise or a government, you explore synergies. If you agree on certain paths forward, you typically also look for bigger, longer terms of synergy as well. We describe what we have as a strong conversation in good faith, but this is the trick, and why most often say we'll give more info soon. No one ever knows what types of things can come out of left field before details are finalized. The bottom line is we're not ready to announce things, so I can't give any details. In retrospect, we should have waited to mention it, given the way things ended up being politicized. It's hindsight, but hindsight is 2020. If I give hints, then the community complains that we didn't give enough information, that it takes too long. Here's what I will say. This is what I will. This is all I will say. We have had strong conversations with multiple island nations. There are material concepts at play, and I personally am excited. And then, of course, what is an island nation? And somebody in here, by the way, just I don't have it up in front of me. But there was somebody here that said, well, what is, here we go. There it is. What do you mean by nation states? And it was Antigua, Barbuda, Australia, Bahamas, Bahrain. There was a whole bunch. There's a big list here of all the little island nation states. So, I mean, you know, they're drawing back some of their comments until such time as an announcement is ready. Okay. So, now you're going to see, by the way, this is great because it provides you a little bit more clarity in what's going on. And are they disrespecting their investors? No, but they're also, when they give information, it pumps the price or dumps the price. And now you're creating another dynamic. It's just like the stock market. You're just creating this other unnecessary dynamic that's prohibiting their ability to build, because now they're spending time answering, you know, ridiculous questions about brokies who pretend like they're whales. Like if you're a whale, shut the fuck up and just hold your bag. And if you believed in the project, nothing fundamentally changed about your belief in the project. Shut the fuck up. And then if first of all, you're saying, well, I'm a whale and I'm allowed to ask questions. No, you're a brokey who got lucky. Okay. Because if you need to ask questions, that means you didn't believe to begin with. So shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? So they're spending more time doing that than they are now in just building, because that's where we are. So we shall see whether or not, look, I think ultimately this is my number one most bullish project, because I do believe that when that thing happens, you know what I'm talking about, when that thing happens, that it's going to explode. Also, it should be noted that, speaking of which, NASDAQ XRP, should be noted that NASDAQ didn't have a problem talking about NASDAQ, Vivo Power. There's now there's a lot going on here with NASDAQ, with Viva Power, and that NASDAQ has listed the XRP to its ETF lineup. There's a lot of underlying and underpinned things that are happening right here. So, yeah, a lot going on. There's just a lot going on. In the Devv ecosystem, I mean, again, they're just, you know, every day there's just more conversation about the potentials that could happen, stuff like that. There's nothing solid or concrete yet. When there is, I will let you know. I won't be the first to let you know, but I'll be one of the first to let you know. Again, don't forget that you're buying if you buy. And by the way, here you go. Buddy on CC is out there right now. You can buy that on Radium. There is blockchain beauties. That's the buddy chart, by the way. That was the buddy chart yesterday. It's absolutely going crazy. So if you got a bag of that, then you're feeling pretty good. Blocky, again, I told you I'm in the spot right now. I'm in the spot right now where I'm trying to just a little bit more time, just a little bit more time, and just you know what I mean, like just a little bit more time. And yeah, that's going to be a big pump, I think. Okay, I think so. Altcoin Daily is going to do a video on Blocky because it hit a certain goal, which was 2.7 million market cap. Now that that's done, you'll see that should add some holders. But of course, like I just told you before, I'm looking for just a tiny bit more dip out of that before that next big rip. Like I want to see just, you know, you know what I mean? Please, I don't think we'll get that position for 30K. Dang. Well, anyway, so, you know, fingers crossed that Blocky, just what I need is just one catastrophic dildo to sell off. That's all I need. You know what I mean? All I need is just one, catch me outside. MFer. Around that 22 number. Like I feel good about that 22 number. I think that's going to lead to a solid rebound. Would it go down from there? I mean, maybe, probably. I don't know. It, could possibly, potentially, maybe. I don't know. But I'm going to get my bag back in there. Hopefully in the next couple hours, and then boom, that hopefully would lead to another big breakout and another big move. Now, what I am looking at ultimately, just for full disclosure, is I'm looking at the top of this range right here, around that 1898 right there. That 19 is going to be my ultimate go all in sort of level. So, if I'm not feeling it when it gets to 24 and I'm not getting a strong back, like I'll buy 100,000, 200,000 at this level right here, thinking that it's going to go down. Then over here, buy another 500,000. Then down here, another 2 or 3 million. You know what I mean? Like that's when you get, that's where you get the biggest bang for your buck. So in the event that I get lucky enough that comes down, then boom, we're going to take off for a big ride with Blocky. By the way, I think that Blocky goes to 10 million market cap. Like that's a 4x from where it is. And I don't think that's, I don't think we're going to be underserved by that. I think that's going to be a big move. I'm just hoping against hope right now that we don't have a breakout at this point, and we get just a little bit more dip. A little more buy rumor, sell news, just a little bit more. Give me a little. It's just I want to accumulate and get a better position, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm risking it for the biscuit, if you will. We got Cesar coming in from Facebook. Says, "What do you think of Aleo?" I don't think about Aleo. In fact, let's. What do I think of Aleo? It says zero knowledge by design, zero knowledge, zero compromise. Built cryptographically secure dApps at scale. Decentralization, scalability, and security aren't mutually exclusive anymore. We're different and we know it. Low complexity, Rust-based DSL. So Rust is Solana, I want to say. Is that right? Smart contract Rust. That's Solana, I think. Yeah, Solana, Polkadot, and Near. So this is a protocol for Solana. So I think Solana is a gem. So I think this will probably be a gem too, in the event that it. I mean, well, let's go look at the market cap. 430, $77 million market cap, $10 million in volume. I would say this is a buy. I mean, zoom out for a month here, and you got a 78 million market cap with a top of about 100 million. Look it up from a year, and oh, absolutely. This is a 500 million market cap, came all the way down. Oh, give me a fucking break. Okay, so for anybody who's interested in a potential breakout project, in the event that this is, if I'm looking at this right, then Jesus Christ, it's a good deal. At 19 cents versus 698. Look, I'm gonna have to do some more research. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research before I get there. This, to me, in my opinion, this looks like this was a massive pre-sale, that this was a big launch, that this was, another one of those blockchains like Arbitrum, like all these other ones. It launched into the surge that we had, ran up during the surge. Then people started taking profits and dumping hard on it. And then the pre-salers started exiting. There's probably a vesting schedule here, and you're probably seeing a lot of sell-off happening because where's the next sell-off right there? That's where the next cascade, and that right there means that it was exactly 90-ish days. That's about a vesting unlocking. So I would look at a few different things about Aleo before I get in, but that looks like a bottom if I ever saw one. So if you guys are interested, then on the next run, just consider this. Just consider this one. If this is the case, then you're probably talking about just a parabolic move. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be. I mean, it looked like this on a screen. So what's to say that this thing is not going to break out and then boom, right there at $1 billion market cap or a $2 billion market cap, something like that. But you guys have to do your own research and figure this one out for yourself. Because I'm not. I'll take the time to look at it, and if something changes, I'll let you know. I'm going to put it on the list right here. So we'll get a sense of it. By the way, it looks like XRP is on the move upwards while the rest of the market is down. So that's a pretty good sign. A lot of capital extraction though. Devv down another 4% today. Fiat, I sold my Fiat bag, by the way. I got tired of waiting for them. I took my loss. I took my lumps on this one. Again, I think ultimately I'm going to be bullish. I'm looking for a re-entry, but I got to see some movement from, the rest of the market. Like, I got to see some movement here. As a matter of fact, by the way, I took my Fiat out and bought Blocky with it, and Blocky pumped, and then I sold. So, my money is in my money right now is in Solana. I moved it over into Solana, but I was taking a fingers crossed approach. I had 75,000 Fiat. So when I sold it, it was $1,800. So now I'm hoping that it's going to dip a little bit harder. We're going to get this opportunity down here, and I can scalp that bottom one more time. And if that's the case, then I'll have a bigger bag than I had before. And if it pumps again, like it did on that last run, it's a nice little 8 or 9 or 10x, then, we're going to do pretty well. So same thing with Devv. Devv gets back up in that $1.80 range. We're going to be doing pretty well. It's just, right now it's just fundamentally twiddle your thumbs and wait for that next big breakout moment. If in fact there is another big breakout moment. So, Vince canceled Vegas. I canceled Vegas. There's a lot of people out there that are doing their Vegas thing. It won't be me. Just the cards did not line up just right. I unfortunately still have to stay home and earn a living making videos and content for you guys, because none of you have made $1 million on Puffy or Blocky or something like that, and then you tipped me enough money to just go do some wild shit like that. So yeah, that's where I am. So no, I didn't make it. But Ethereum to 3,000. Elon Musk says that no deal has been signed with Telegram, by the way. Ton, remember yesterday, Ton was talking about, and there was all that rumor about Ton on the XAI, and it turns out it's not true. There's no agreement so far. Telegram's $300 million cash and equity deal with XAI remains unconfirmed. So that doesn't mean that it's not happening. It just means that something's taking a little bit of time. Now, the next one is, could XRP be Trump's next bet? When you have news like that in the market, the price may surge beyond $5. So if Trump media starts talking about XRP and acquiring XRP, and it should be known, there's a lot of stuff going on with XRP right now. Too much to even talk about at this point. Because, and by the way, I don't know. I just, I hear it and I read it and stuff like that, and then it just goes in one ear and out the other. But I keep seeing XRP everywhere. So I would suspect that XRP is going to have a big run pretty soon. But again, if Trump can add $2.5 billion into his Trump media, then, oh my God, like you're sending a signal. That signal is buy XRP. That's about as bullish as it gets. So also, you might want to read this article when you get the time. It's on News 18, but it's talking about that guy, Bilan bin Saqib. That is the Bitcoin maxi in Pakistan. I would be reading up on him, because it looks like these guys are these guys are all serious business. Like, there's going to be a lot happening over the next little while. All right. So I think that covers it. 24-hour DEX volume. BSC still 11 billion. Guys, have you seen a BSC meme coin losing its mind right now, going to billions of market cap? I don't think you have. I think that this is manipulation, especially when out of nowhere, now people are going nuts, but we're not getting meme coins going crazy on BSC. We're getting, we're getting the normal pumps that we would get, pumps, dumps, pumps, dumps. We're not getting explosive, adding tons of value to it. Something's wrong there. $11 billion in volume. I'm calling bullshit on this one. Solana at 2 billion, Ethereum at 2 billion, Base at 1 billion, Arbitrum at 600 million. The numbers all line up except BSC. And by the way, when I say the numbers don't line up, if you have a question about that, you can always click on it, and you can total value locked. Let's get rid of that. Let's do DEX volumes here. Let's just remove that. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Like, we got we got a surge that we haven't seen since the top of the bull market. The fuck is going on here? Like, you look at this and you see, like, one day over here, we had some ridiculous God candle here for 6.8 billion. And now every single day we've got 10 to 12 billion. No, I refuse. I refuse to accept this data as real. This is not legitimate. There's no way. Okay, that's all I'm saying. There's no fucking way that is the case. If we look at the dexes over here on Solana, no, there is no way that this is legitimate. So I would be looking at BSC with a real kind of weird eye right now for whatever's happening right now. So, but as far as the rest of the market goes, Winecoin is the big winner so far today. Still, I still haven't gotten that entry position. I wanted to, if I get one more trap, remember we were talking about this yesterday, and I told you that if it hits back down here, then I want to accumulate a little bit more. So I'm waiting right now to see if we don't get just an opportunity like boom, 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 back down here into 301 sort of range, and then boom, should be a nice little surge to the upside off of that, get a nice little spike in activity. Now, I don't like the fact that it didn't do much right here. That rally seems to be a little bit subdued, but the last time we got that rally, which was this dump down, which dumped down right here, and then we had this rounded move, and then boom, a surge, and then a big dump. So what we're seeing here is a rounded move, and then a surge, probably followed by a big dump here, and then we'll start to move back up. And, so I think that Winecoin still has a little bit left in the tank. Now remember, these people, this is the Faltron crew. The one thing that I can say about the Faltron crew is that they will start to exit and disappear and move on to the next project before you know it. So I'm not putting too much faith into it. I haven't seen any reason to get super excited about Winecoin yet, other than if Faltron's in it, then there's probably money to be made. But also, remember, we did pretty well and we already made. So there could be a moment in time where he moves on to another project. And, look, this is not a lot. Didn't even go to 1 million market cap. But the fact that it's not at 1 million market cap yet should be an indication that there might be, people might not agree with my assessment that it's got some upside potential. So, again, be very, very careful when you're dealing with this. As far as the rest of it goes, Speedy's up 5% on the day. API still just kind of meandering right there. Blockchain Beauties is about dead even for the day. TAR is about even for the day. Blocky, again, coming down, came back up here. Somebody just made a big buy here. If it's one of you, you're an asshole, man. I was just, God damn it, just one time. Can I just one time? Can I just get a brother get a dip? Theus, again, underperforming until Devv starts to perform. It's going to underperform. CC down about 3% on the day. We did have that. And basically what we had here was an influencer selling off. I think they might have bought their own bag, or they bought and they got, I don't know. I don't know what the deal was with that, but I think that was an influencer selling off. Just like, remember the other time where we had over here, the guy that was on the team, he got mad because, I don't know, because cheese is overpriced or whatever stupid fucking reason these nerds have for just being Jeets. Oh, by the way, you can't say Jeet. Turns out you can't fucking say Jeet, or you can't explain what a Jeet is. So let me give you the breakdown, by the way, on this, and we're going to go ahead and stop that, and we're going to talk about, let me tell you what happened on Puff yesterday. And I'm going to pull it up here to give you kind of an explanation so that you can see it from me directly. And boom. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is it. So I was in the Puff chat, and Jeff Kurdikis is the owner of the project, okay? And Jeff said the Jeets were leaving and he doesn't want to reward them. And somebody asked what a Jeet is. So I explained, and what I said very, very specifically was, it's a pejorative used to describe people who sell early, and it comes from a subculture in India who likes to take profits very quickly. They're scalpers and swing traders. They're not long-term hodlers. That's how they make their money. That's not disrespectful in any way. And as a matter of fact, Amit, who is in the chat right now, can probably attest to what I'm talking about. That's all I said. And then somebody in there got mad at that statement. Let me go back and restart this. I didn't say Jeets. Jeff did, the creator of Puff. Okay. I just said what Jeet was. And by the way, let's talk about it. Jeet is short for Pajit. Pajit is actually a Pakistani name, not an Indian name. It's in the same region of the world, something like that. You know what I mean? So, but Pajit was where it came from, and that's what Jeet is, and it represents somebody who sells early, because the culture in India was to take a small profit, take your money, and build your wallet, and people don't like that, so they turned it into this bad sort of symbol for somebody who sells early. That was it, right? Now, fun fact, Pajit is not a real name. It never was. It doesn't mean anything. It was just a disrespectful, Americanized way of calling somebody Indian. That was it. Okay. So that's all. There's nothing more to that. And I said that. I said both of those things. And I got warned by one of the admins that if I don't stop this shit, that I'm going to get banned. And I was like, what the fuck? You know what? You want to see a magic trick? And then when I said, you want to see a magic trick, I came over, no fucking lie either, like no lie. I came over here, I was in the group, and I hit leave group. And then I left the group, and I realized nobody's going to see me say that Believes Crypto has left the group or anything like that, right? So then I just went on my way, and I made this post, right? And then I was like, I'm not going to deal with that. So then a few minutes later, I go back on Telegram. I'm still in the chat. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I still in the chat? I hit leave group. I don't know why I'm still in the chat. And it could be that I had something, like I was open in 2 locations or something like that. So I was like, you know what? All right, I'm getting the fuck out of here. But then before I get the fuck out of here, somebody's like, I bet he sell off. And they're like, oh, and that's what it was. Like, he's going to sell his bag or something like that. And, just kind of, doing their little thing. And I'm like, you know what? God damn it. Like, man, when you exit the room, you want to slam the door. And then of course, nothing. So I left the group, and then Jeff and I talked about it. And like, I was like, cause he was like, don't let random shake you out of a project. And I just said, I'm not leaving. Has nothing to do with the project. It has to do with, I just don't have time to deal with fucking clowns. Like, I mean, I already have an administration that runs my country full of them. I don't need more. So, it's sensitive people can just fuck off. Like, and again, like what did I say? I said that Jeet is a pejorative used to describe people who sell early. And it came from India, even though Pajit is not even a word that's Indian or Paki. So, it was just incredibly disrespectful. And I wasn't disrespectful. I just explained what it is. They gave me attitude. Fuck those guys. So yeah, if you want to know whether I tolerate that shit, I don't have to be in your Telegram. You know what? I don't have time for that shit. By the way, just to give you guys a clue, just to give you guys some reality check in this regard. Somebody posted this a little while ago. Where is that? Right there. When did Volt become an unofficial stable coin? Motherfucker, when I left their chat. Don't believe me? And look, you guys know. I mean, I think everybody knows. I was all in on Volt, and about a year and a half ago, I was like, you know what? I am sick of these fucking whiny bitches. Because, by the way, the Volt community used to be something special. Okay. I will say that. I will tell you that. The Volt community used to be something special. There was nothing else like it. It was led by Pablo. It was led by Power. It was led by another fucking guy. I can't remember what his name is at this point. God damn it. But it was led by a group of people, and they really captured the heart of it. There was Volted Ranger, there was Crypt, there was Volt Chick, there was a bunch of different people in Volt that really represented everything that's right in meme coins, and they had a nice little run with it, right? But now we're at the point where all of the sudden things started to change. First misstep was you pissed off everybody by going from a 13% tax to a 0% tax. And then instead of pumping, it dumped, because what people didn't realize was you were basically being held hostage by Volt with a 13% tax one way in and one way out. Like, you were basically, once you bought, you were holding the end, because you didn't want it, because you had to have a 26% move, and you couldn't transfer from your wallet either, but you had to have a 26% move just to make a buck off of it. That's a lot. So, and then every time you cash out 10,000, they keep 1,300. So you're cashing out 8,700. So, and people didn't like that, but it also kept people in it. So as soon as you went to zero tax and you started, this is your new contract, by the way. I mean, like, I'm not making this shit up. As soon as you move to zero tax on this new contract, this is what happened. Now, you get this big pump here. What is that big pump? That's liquidity being moved over. So it looks like it's a gigantic pump. But as soon as everybody had an opportunity to sell within, what is this? I mean, how many days did it take? How many days did it take? 30 days. Within 30 days, you were at what really amounts to 3 times where you are right now at a bottom. And then that bottom lasted for a little while. And then that was the end, like, done. Like it just, from that point on, the end. Like, Ragu, rest in peace, YOLO, whatever. I don't know the fucking name. But it absolutely sold off. It absolutely bottomed out. And that was a wrap. So maybe, just maybe, Voltoshi should have kept me on the team. By the way, I'm just kidding. That wouldn't have made any difference. Just so you guys understand. Like, I would have talked about it. We've been promoting it. We've been doing stuff with it, but it really wouldn't have moved price too much. What moves price right now is, and by the way, the reason, in my opinion, that it's not moving is their community is toxic. And I don't like to say that about a project and a developer that I really like. Like, I thought Voltoshi, as meme coins go, best developer that we've ever seen. And that's, by the way, it did go to 250 million market cap. So, say what you will about it. Like, he got it to a $250 million market cap in a bear market. So that's not nothing. So, but is the run over? That's the question. But the community became toxic. Elizabeth passed away. I don't know that she was the beacon of light that made everything better, but her passing away was not optimal as well. That was Space Chick, for anybody who was wondering that. Also, we had Crypto Latina. She was doing Cafecito de Volt or something like that. And then it was just like a Volted morning. And then you had Musa, I want to say. And you had Young Light, you had Game Bangers. You had a couple different people that were doing it, but there was a different vibe. There was a different vibe. And, more, the vibe became attacking people who sold. The vibe became banning people who asked questions. By the way, it's just not just them. It was, it was towards the end of when I was in there. And then, of course, I got hacked and all my shit was stolen. And I went in there. I said, hey, I was hacked. All my shit was stolen. And I asked, Ozzy, that was the guy's name. And I was told that Ozzy sold off all of his Volt and then asked Voltoshi if he could have his bag replaced or something like that, so that he could stay in the community, because he was the one that used CoinRabbit and got wrecked off of CoinRabbit. Okay, that was the running narrative. So, yes, she did. She passed away last year. So She had stage 4. She had cancer, by the way. So she was posting videos. You can go find them on TikTok. It hasn't been taken down yet, but yeah, she passed away last year. So anyway, so then I heard that was going on with Ozzy. I don't know if that happened or not. So I went to Voltoshi and I went to the community and I said, hey, anybody want to help? And they were like, oh, don't come in here begging and stuff like that. So if Pablo were in there, he would have been like, fuck that. Get your own bag or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Pablo was the first person to step up and help me when I got hacked. So I already know who Pablo is. You know what I mean? Everybody else, no, they didn't want to have any of that. So I left. I got the fuck out. Then I even argued, by the way, Crypto Che. Crypto Che is the guy who sends me vaulted stuff. I got, oh shit, you know what? I don't have any vaulted stuff here, but you know, I have Vaulted Believer shirts. I have all kinds of different stuff. I have Volt shirts that I wear, like when I go to the gym and stuff like that. I still promote Volt, even though I don't communicate with them by virtue of wearing stuff that still says Volt or Volted and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? But you know, even Crypto Che was like, you know, he was upset with me because of, I meant the way I said it or what, or the fact that I left. I don't remember exactly what it was. As a matter of fact, I kept the chat so I could tell you. Yeah, so here it was. This was me and Che, and I said, hey, man, wanted to thank you. You were awesome all of this time. This was April of 2024, but I don't need the toxicity there, so I left chat. I said I'd work out tokens and didn't even mean I wanted anything. I was just alluding to buying when I have the funds, but that level of toxic isn't good. Best of luck, my man. I hope you guys soar high. Toxicity, bro, shut the fuck up. It was a damn joke. Honestly, annoying that all influencers got to use that word all the time when there's nothing toxic about the Volt Army. You just got a free dragon, your second free dragon, but a meme community not allowed to crack jokes. And I was the one that got you that first dragon, which is why I thanked him, by the way. And by the way, we've worked it out. Like we've talked and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? Like we're cool. But, you know, at that moment, you know what I mean? So, but here, here's what I'm going to say. Volt is not dead. You know, this shit ain't happening. But if you just consider, you know, this trend line right here, there is an easy 4 or 5 or 6x that's going to come out of this. All right. There's an easy 4 or 5 or 6x that's going to come out of Volt. So if you can make a profit off of it and you can, you know, take advantage, this is what happened the last time it ran. That was there. And then right there, when we got to that last run back in November, it went from, what is that, 2? Went to 602 up to 605, 4, yeah, 5403. So there's still meat on the bone. You're still, if you buy low right now on Volt, like you're probably getting into a really big gift. Like you're going to get a nice little run. If nothing else, a 4 or a 5x up into this range. But when you get to Banana Zone, if you get to Banana Zone, wham. You know what I mean? Like you 2 or 3, or that's about a 20. I guess that was about a 10x, maybe 6x. So there's some potential. There's still some opportunity right there. Is it going to 50 billion market cap? No. Is it going to a billion market cap? Probably not. Is it going to go to a 250 million market cap again? That probably. Yeah. Look, I still remain bullish. Like if it just goes back to, I mean, consider this. Just consider, you know, crypto is cyclical. Some of these things do tend to go back to their all-time highs and give them other tests. But if you got in right now, you're 16x away from the all-time high. If it gets a breakout, and by the way, I don't even know if that's the all-time high. If it breaks out from there, it's going to get even higher. It's going to be even bigger. You know what I mean? So Volt has some opportunity, but you know. So anyway, That's it. Time for me to go work out. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button on your way out. We got 186 people watching. The best thing that you can do to help me out, if you don't want to become a member of the channel, it's $4.99 a month to become a member of the channel. If you do become one, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We're going to be doing some private content for people who are members of the channel. It'll be early calls and stuff like that. I'll give you, like when I get videos and stuff like that, or if I'm having conversations with projects, I'm just going to start posting it in there in the private chat. So for $4.99 a month, it's actually pretty cheap for some inside intel. Like you're going to get that 47,000 call from Puff, which is up 300x right now. You're going to get that call about Blocky. You're going to get those conversations that I will have with you as my subscribers, paid subscribers, so that you get some inside details. Doesn't mean that everything's going to run, but it does mean these are the ones that I'm having conversations with. So we're going to do some of that. I had somebody reach out to me and ask me about Telegram, and I'm not really a fan of Telegram for me, but you know, I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. So anyway, sign up here, become a member of the channel, helps me out tremendously. If not, then a super chat every once in a while would not be a horrible thing. So anyway, that's it. It's not financial advice. I'm always right. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's recognize it's only a matter of days before Ben Armstrong is out of prison, jail, whatever it is that he's in. It's only a matter of a few days before he's out. If he's not already out and secretly just getting ready for his comeback, it's going to be weird, but probably going to happen. So anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Not financial advice, but I'm